So glad to have you here. Tell me a little bit about the program that you've been doing here, and then we'll get into the partnership with City Arts as well.
Sure. So we're part of a class at Providence College that's an interdisciplinary course that's a partnership between Global Studies, Public and Community Service, and the art program at Providence College. So what we do is we talk about theories of community building, civic engagement, and how social change can be achieved through an art medium. And
That's cool.
Yeah. And so the medium that we're working with is photography. So in our partnership, we work with both youth at Smith Hill CDC's Youth Rep and at City Arts. And we talk about, we teach them photography, but also in learning collaboratively with them. We focus on how photography can be a medium for social change and social activism.
Wow. So what's this been like? What has it been like for you doing this?
So for me, I've actually done a few community art projects back home teaching younger students back in New York. But the difference with this program, I feel, is that it's a focus on both collaborative learning and to achieve some sort of social objective, to see how students both see themselves in their communities and how they would see themselves acting like as active citizens in their communities. So, and because photography is such a powerful medium itself, it allows for more, I guess, communication with the outside world and to portray their communities the way they feel they should.
And do you feel like that message has been reached? I mean, we're talking about children, but essentially young adults as well. Do you feel like it really has made an impact and you've been able to showcase that work?
I think definitely it makes an impact because it allows them to, I mean, I know as when I was younger, sometimes you feel like as older persons or older people, it's like around you don't necessarily listen to what you have to say or what you think about the communities that you live in. So to have the ability to work with the young artists themselves and to see how they describe their communities and how they want to see certain things changed or how they like certain things in their community, I find is incredibly important to sort of a social change aspect to their work.
Yeah, that's pretty, I mean, I can understand that as a young person to be part of the community and feel like you don't have a voice, it can be very frustrating. When you were working with these kids, what did you see in them? Do you feel like they finally felt like they had a voice? And do you think that by being able to put their art on the wall through this exhibit, that mission was accomplished?
I think that mission is it's in the process of being accomplished once we actually have the exhibition up next week. But it's about definitely you see a sort of like spark in their eyes as they're taking the photos of their own community and then describing their community to you. It's different when you have somebody who lives in those areas describing what their hometown is like, their family life, things like that. So I think it's definitely an important aspect to the exhibition itself to portray these images as how they wanted to represent themselves and their communities.
What were some of the pictures of?
There were a lot of photos of street art, murals, also of the community centers that they go to, and then themselves playing sports outside the playground, things along those lines.
And why do you think people should be able to go to this exhibit, or why do you think people should go to this exhibit?
I think it's important for people to attend the exhibit itself because it allows you an inside view to how these young artists see their communities, but also how we can ourselves interact with these communities in a collaborative and empowering fashion. So I think, and if you want to see how talented the young artists themselves are at taking photographs, I think if you're just generally interested in that too, that would be a great reason to come to the exhibition itself.
Were you guys using cameras? Were you using cell phones? Were you using, I mean, what kind of mediums were you using?
So we used digital cameras, normal point and shoot cameras.
Okay.
We also did a few days where they had their cell phones too, but it was mostly focused on using and learning how to use like a point and shoot camera, different exposure levels, things along those lines, like techniques in digital photography.
I mean, I feel like that could be pretty rewarding to be working with young people and being able to show them how to express themselves. Did it feel like a rewarding experience to you?
Definitely it feels rewarding, but I think it's more important for them to have their experience and them sort of gaining ownership of their agency in their communities and in their lives and their voices. I think it's more important for that to participate in seeing them develop their like grasping of their own agency themselves than necessarily being rewarding just for me to be teaching them photography.
And how about you? What are you up to next? You're a senior, so graduating soon. What's up for you next?
So right now it's just internship search. I plan in a year going to get a PhD in sociology.
Good for you.
So right now it's still in the little limbo waiting zone, but outside of that, yeah, it's busy finishing up.
Good for you. Well, congratulations, Stephen. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to bring on another PC student to talk a little bit more about the collaboration through City Arts. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great. Thank you. All right, I'd like to introduce Delina Auciello, who is also a student at Providence College. Come on in.
Awesome.
How are you doing, Dee?
Great. How are you?
Good,
Thanks so much for having
good.
us.
Of course. So thank you for joining us. So you're also a student, and you're going to talk to us a little bit about the collaboration. So tell me, what did you learn about working with young people?
Oh, what did I learn? I learned a lot of things. First off, I'm really interested in arts and social change, and that this program itself kind of sparked that for me. But I think what I learned is the power behind a photograph, not only to empower the young artists themselves, but also how they can express their voice through that. I also really learned about the community. So one of my favorite moments at City Arts was we do different activities. Sometimes we'll do photo scavenger hunts, like take a picture of what you think voice is, or take a picture of what you think power is. But one day we found all these old pictures from City Arts and we laid them out on the table. And my young artist, Steven, and I actually shared the same young artist, Elijah. He saw this picture and he's like, wait a second, I know where that is. So then he took us, he grabbed it and he goes running out the door, and he actually took us to this community center. And being able to take a photo of it now versus a few years ago when these photos were from, I'm actually learning about a community hands-on with a community member. And that's something that's really special to me.
Do you think that your experience with that young person, I mean, that has to be pretty equal on both sides, a little bit different but equal, like you're learning from them and they're learning from you. That has to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm a public service major also, so this is like a PSP, as we call it, class. So we're all about partnerships in PSP, so that mutuality and that reciprocity that's created in those relationships I think is really special, because this is one of the first photography classes I've taken too, so I'm kind of learning the camera, but so are they. So I don't really know everything, but neither do they either, so they don't either. But I think it's cool because we're there as kind of mentors, but we're building those relationships and those friendships. So excited to see them every week, and then learning just as much from them about community, because community is so complex and layered, and what it means to really cross borders in an intentional way is something that has really been built out of this relationship and partnership that we've kept at City Arts, and then this year, our first year at Youth Rap. So
that was a powerful statement that you said just there. That's very touching. Tell me a little bit about what it's like to see things through the eyes of a child, because that's literally what this project is. You're taking pictures through the eyes of a child, and then we're looking at them in this exhibit.
Yeah. I think it's really cool, especially on the photo scavenger hunt days when we're talking about take a picture of what this looks like, or go find this in your community. So I think it's cool also because the partnership, we're learning in class. Each week we have different photo projects due. So we'll have photo projects due on Tuesday when we have our marathon class about what do you think community is, what do you think power is, what do you think democracy is. And then we'll go to City Arts on Fridays, Steve and I were there, and then other people on Mondays, and then we'll ask them the same questions. So the different ways that different people different age groups interpret those questions, and what does community mean to you, go photograph that versus what we photographed in our class. So it was cool to kind of have that comparison and to kind of learn in those different ways about those really broad topics.
Yeah. What are some of the pictures that you saw that really touched you or moved you, or were you surprised about?
I think definitely the community center one was something that really touched me, that I was talking about before, having Elijah actually take us there, and just when we were walking around, him being like, oh, my house is right around the corner over there, so things like that were special. But I think just different ways people interpret things. So I know Steven said people talked a lot about, took a lot of pictures about street art and things like that, but just I think what made it special is these are things that they pass in their community every day, but being able to give a voice to that.
Yeah.
So I think all the photos were touching in different ways, but then being able to sit down after, so we're obviously only with one young artist, one PC student,
Okay.
but then we'll sit down after and we'll do like reflection time where everyone shows around their cameras like their favorite photo, why it's their favorite photo. So we're getting like the various stories told of the one community.
That's pretty neat. And what did you learn from working with the young people? Like, did anybody really stand out and say, this is my voice and this is why I matter? Or do you think that anybody really touched you in a significant way?
I think when we were choosing photos for the exhibition, a lot of the young artists chose photos of their PC student that they had been working with.
Yeah.
So I think that was really special, and like not only giving voice to their community, but the relationships that we're building through this program across communities, which I thought was kind of special because we're all part of the greater Providence community, but not a lot of us have actually like walked around these.
And
programs.
Providence is so different.
Yeah,
you know,
it's so
I mean, it's
different.
really so diverse, and
Yeah.
every community is so specific and so different in so many different areas. So you could say, I'm from Providence, and you say, oh, well, what neighborhood?
Exactly.
And then which village, and
Right.
you know,
Right.
which hamlet, you know,
Yeah.
every part of Providence is so different.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that was really special. I think. I think really the relationships, because even if it's not your young artist, like you're working with the same young artists every single week. So like even if they're not your specific one, like you're still bonding with them, running by them, taking pictures, and just seeing them really like bond with their PC student was special. Like the different relationships that are developing and the photos that they're taking together. And a lot of times when they passed around the camera, I remember this one time Stephen was working with another one of the students, and she's like, "This is my favorite picture because I love Stephen and I like his smile," and it was just like really cute. And it was they taught me a lot about the power of voice regardless of what your age is. Like I never had a program like this when I was younger, and I think that it's really developing grassroots civic engagement and social change, and I think that's really special. So
That's neat. And do you think that part of that, and what do you think the reasons are that programs like this are important and relationships like this are important between, you know, colleges and organizations like City Arts and Youth Rap?
yeah, I think for us especially, when you're learning in the classroom as a PSP major, or even if you're not, like you're just taking this class, you're like talking about community and photo ethics and things like that. It's so different to just sit in the classroom and talk about these things than to actually go and engage and build those relationships through the photography, like actually using photography to build relationships to convey voice and power. So I think these partnerships are really meaningful because we're getting out into the community, and then what we're learning out in the community is having an impact on what we're learning in the classroom too. So we'll like say back like, oh, last week at City Arts we did this, but then also what we're learning in the classroom is complementing that too. So not only the relationships we're building out of it, but we're getting to see different areas of Providence by people who live there, and they're able to take ownership and kind of like show off their community, which I think is special, but it's really informing what we're learning in the classroom too. So I think it's a different kind of engaged learning.
I love that. All right. Well, Dee, thank you so much
Yeah,
for joining
of
us. I
course.
appreciate that. We're going to get one more viewpoint on this partnership. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to talk to a few of the young people with City Arts. I'd like to introduce Alyssa and Raphael. I think they're around the corner. I think I hear them giggling back there. We're going to chat with them really quick.
Here they come.
All right. They're going to tell you, hi guys, come on in. You're going to stand right by me. Come on in.
Okay. Good
Hi guys, how's it going? You're going to look right here and talk to me. How are you?
Good.
Okay, tell me how old you are.
I'm 9, 10, 11.
Oh, you are? Okay. Tell me a little bit, you can take turns. Tell me what this program was like. How did you like taking pictures?
I for a point in my life I wanted to be a photographer, but I love taking photos a lot. I especially love taking photos of the sunset in the sky.
You did. Great. And how about you? What was it like taking pictures for you?
It was fun because we got to express ourselves with the pictures, and we got to take pictures of what we really wanted to take pictures of. And it's like when you take a picture, you get to catch like one of the moments that you can remember later on in your life.
That is amazing. And what will it be like to see your work in an exhibit?
We're actually having an exhibit like on the 27th,
Yeah.
and I think it's gonna be fun.
And there's
To
going to be
see
so
our
many
pictures.
people. Yeah, there's going to be so many people coming to see all the work that you've done, all the hard work that you've put into this. What will that be like for you? Are you excited about it?
Yeah, I'm excited.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel super happy that my work will be up in an exhibit, and especially my PC buddy, which helped me a lot with my photos.
And who is your PC buddy?
Danny.
Danny. Oh, well, thank you both so much for coming in. I appreciate it. Can we take a picture together?
Sure.
Okay. We're going to take a picture together.